post-credit sequences here, boys. We're going to include the final scene of the movie as a or count as a post-credit because it does tease the future of the MCU. Then we'll obviously talk about that mid-credit scene with you know who. Let's go with the first scene to start. All right, let's save the best for last. So we get a moment where Kamala Khan goes Nick Fury. I'm here to talk about the Avenger Initiative, and we get an appearance from Kate Bishop from Hawkeye, played by Haley Steinfeld. And this has been something that has been in the rumor mills. I know, Jax, you're all over this stuff with potential Young Avenger projects. We might be getting a Young Avenger movie. I think that is certainly on the table and is being teased here. Jax, what was your impression when you saw this scene?
Yeah, I think they've right. It's been a rumor for a while, where we've kind of like we see Cassie Lang and Ant-Man, we're seeing Miss Marvel, we're seeing America Chavez and Doctor Strange. Like we're seeing all these younger characters, and then you're gonna have Agatha, Coven of Chaos, or Hark, whatever the name is now. I know they changed the title, where you're gonna have the Wanda's two kids, and like so I was excited for it. I liked Hawkeye, the show, which I'm not a fan of Hawkeye, the character per se. But I did like the show a lot. I like how grounded it was, whatever. I thought Haley Steinfeld was awesome in it. But yeah, like I thought it was cool. Again, it's kind of like Kamala being like that funnier character sitting there
Mhm.
like Fury and but yeah, and I think it was a cool little dynamic. I like the little smirk at the end by Kate Bishop being kind of like, yeah, like let's ride. Um, so that'll be dope. It's gonna be cool. Um, I don't know. I honestly I'd rather see it in a Disney Plus series than a movie though.
Now
Interesting.
you're
So
thinking.
I thought that too because these are like lesser known heroes, which is typically reserved for the Disney Plus shows. But after the failure of the Disney Plus shows, are they more willing to make a team up movie for audiences? Like, but it's really hard to track with like who's going to be in the movie. Is it going to generate enough excitement at the box office to really like justify a Young Avenger movie? But these two characters, these are like my two favorite potential Young Avengers. Like
Yeah.
I like Kamala Khan. I haven't watched Miss Marvel, right? So I'm kind of overstepping my grounds here. But Kate Bishop, I agree with you, Jax. I liked Hawkeye. I wasn't dismissive of it. I haven't rewatched it. I was thinking about doing so for the holiday season, and it's a fun watch. You know, and Haley Steinfeld is that's probably like the most exciting name you could put on a Young Avenger team. And it was funny. I agree. It was totally in line with like the Kamala Khan character, her obsession with the Avengers and uh, Captain Marvel and Nick Fury. I dug this scene. Ricky Flex, your impressions?
There's chemistry there. This could work. I think for
Yeah.
a Disney Plus show. I think for a movie like this is going to fail, as in the Marvels box office wise. The show, the Miss Marvel, failed from a viewership wise. So it should be a show, and I think I think the chemistry you focus on that, and you gotta do something different, not make it like an Avengers type of thing. Have like make sure like you know what they're doing at Echo and all these other projects like it's like a Marvel Elseworlds or whatever it's called. I don't know. I know DC.
Spotlight.
Thank you. I'm not saying do that, but what I'm saying is they got to make it unique and like this is their thing. I think because you're not gonna get me. These are D-list characters. I'm a maybe on watching this as a Disney Plus show. So if you want to get me, I want to hear like, oh, we have inspirations from this movie and this movie, like what they did with the Batman recently, how they changed the Batman character, right? They were inspired by Seven. Like, oh, that's sick. Like different than the Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan. I want to hear stuff like that, not like Seven. I'm just saying like different, something different, not so MCU-y. But we'll see because at the end of the day, like it is the MCU and they're already so interconnected here. Like you said, we already have 4 movies or 5 projects with all these little guys or young Avengers. So yeah, my hopes are too high probably.
I will say like the tone thing, I don't think it's gonna be as much of an issue with this show. Um, because like the characters, they're all like young, like exciting, and they're enthusiastic. Like I think it'd be cool to see them interacting with one another. It's almost like what didn't work with Nick Fury here. It's like the Marvel like recipe. It's like all these characters, you can plug them into like different projects and it'll still work, right? It didn't work for Nick Fury. He's such a serious character, and then you try and make something so over the top comedic with him, it doesn't blend well. I think you can do it with the Young Avengers because there's no one that's dark and brooding, right? They're all just like, let's save the world, like they're all in on that, Jax, looks like you're about to say something.
Yeah, I wanted to just echo what it was either you, Doc, or Flex. I don't remember. Yeah, like a special presentation, either, right? Like what they did with
Werewolf by Night.
Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, like that'd be cool. Like give us a quick 50, 55 minutes, like show the team getting together, have like a big little, like a villain in it, quick fight, all good. Like that's all I need. I don't want a 2-hour movie where you're seeing the backstory of most of the characters, them forming a team like the Avengers and the original Avengers, and it would just be like boring. Like no one would want that.
Right. I think a positive though is that we won't get like an origin type of thing because we already got that through all these guys, like, these Young Avengers. Cassie Lang, we got it. Here we got Miss Marvel, her own show, in this. Who else? The two Wanda's kids, we got that, and Jolo Chavez, like we got that. America Chavez, we got that, So we're good on that end.
We could get Scar too from She-Hulk, Hulk's son. That could
also. Oh right.
Yes.
I do want to think about the team outlook, but I wanted to talk about the spotlight that MCU, the new I guess like not mini, it's the new branding for like stories that are in the Marvel Cinematic Universe but have looser connections, or like it's not integral to watch. I think putting a label on those type of shows is smart. I think DC was kind of first to it with the Elseworlds, but this is still like it's like Echo is under the spotlight banner where you are, if you're looking for something that's going to tie into the larger MCU, right? This is not going to be your cup of tea. If you want to see maybe stronger character development, or you want to see like if you have affinity for a specific character, like this might be more of like your cup of tea. Like if you put a label on it, it seems like that's good because the expectations for the Disney Plus shows, they feel like they all have world stakes, like global stakes or universe stakes. If you could just bring it down a little bit, that'd be good for a spotlight type of story and a Young Avenger type of project where it's not going to be like their first task isn't like, oh my God, it's like a young Thanos that is just like, oh, come upon Earth and then we have to go stop him, right? It's going to be something smaller scale. I think it fits under that spotlight banner. But let's just talk about like what this team would look like, because this was racing through my mind. I think Miss Marvel, like Kate Bishop, they're in. Okay. Aside from that, I agree. Scar, his inclusion at the end of She-Hulk, I think you could have like an interesting character there, right? Guy from another planet being put on this team. I think that'd be cool. Billy and Tommy, I'm not sure if how they would be implemented. They're really young. Like I know this is the Young Avengers, but they're like super, super young. Jax, yeah. Throw it out your thought.
I believe they're recasting both of them to be older in the Agatha show.
Oh, that's a good call. I think I did see something similar to that. That's a good call.
But I'm pretty sure I saw that somewhere. So like they'd be around like that teenage age now, rather than like 8 or 10 or however old they are.
This is why you're our MCU correspondent, Jax. Well done. Any other people? Like we also had a Falcon the Winter Soldier. We had Isaiah Bradley's son. I think it's Eli Bradley, potentially playing Patriot. Like he can potentially be a part of the Young Avengers. There's plenty of like people. America Chavez, you brought up. There's plenty of people here, but like, is that lineup? Is it strong enough to like even say yes to a Disney Plus show? Even a Disney Plus show.
I have cost cutting over at Disney.
Yeah. Jackson.
I have a way to make it like, I know again, it's a spotlight, whatever. Like it's not huge implications. There is depending on what goes down with Kang, there is a variant of Kang and his name is Iron Lad.
Oh,
so
wow.
Could be a little tie-in. I don't know. I think that'd be pretty cool, but we'll say, right?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Right. And that's Iron Lad. That's a variant of Kang that takes on like the Iron Man mantra a little bit. Okay. But that would be because that would fit in with the storyline that goes in post season 2 of Loki. Kang's populating, right? Goes with the multiverse saga. He's brought in a younger like Kang for the Young Avengers to go against. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Like that's like it's set up pretty nicely. It's just more of like, am I going to want to see these characters? But I like that thought. Ricky Flex, any final thoughts here?
Yeah. Now the more we talk about it, and you like listing it out, even that like that's interesting. But like none of these pack a punch, you know. So again, they're gonna have to sell me. You know, it's got to be about the quality of the product. Like, is this trailer like what's the storyline? Like, they're gonna have to sell me through, you know, good old fashioned. Like, is the movie gonna be good or the show gonna be good? Not who's in it. Like Marvel's been kind of relying on past 5 years.
All of these characters that they're looking to build a project on, they've been through these Disney Plus shows that they've started for the most part, except for America Chavez and even like a Love from Love and Thunder. Like you are gonna have a hard time, I think, getting people to like say I'm excited to this, to greenlight a project like this because they come off like kind of failed shows, you know. So it's tough. Okay, let's get to the juicy one, boys. I walked into the theater. I was like, I'm kind of going to see this just because there's such a hyped up post credit scene. And I thought it was worth the hype. And I thought it was kind of desperate, had that kind of desperate feel because, hey, we got to get people excited to still come out for the MCU despite like what you just saw on screen. You know, it just felt like we need you and it's going to be worth staying around. We get Spectrum, Monica Rambeau. After that, she is closing this jump point. She is now stuck in another multiverse reality. She is waking up in the basement, pretty much, of the X Mansion, and she has a variant of her mother, Maria Rambeau, who's playing a character named Binary. Okay, and she is not the mother of Monica from this reality. But alongside Binary, you get Beast. We get Hank McCoy, played by Kelsey Grammer, notably played Beast in the X-Men cinematic series from the early 2000s. Guys, Ricky Flex, start with you. Initial impressions from seeing Hank on screen and Binary.
This for me, again, I'm gonna say this. Just hold your beer, like hold your thoughts. This reminded me of Eternals because tough movie, but the post credit was like, whoa. That was the other time that my movie theater like kind of jumped. You know, the cat scene and then this scene. You know, I had, you know, Harry Styles Eternals, like everyone was like, oh my God. This had a similar feeling, not as big, but like, well, not as like a big of a like a audience reaction, but big implications. Um, I can't help but think of Multiverse of Madness still because you know we were introduced to Patrick Stewart. He was talking to an Avenger, you know, multiple. So it still was some overlap there. This is a completely different reality as well. So this could just be a sweep over. I don't know, but the binary is interesting. That tells me Latana Lynch is in, and that's an easy like Captain Marvel, you're out. Binary, you're in, and yeah, this could be the reality where we get the Deadpool movie with Wolverine next year. And are they just gonna go with the old X-Men? That was my initial takeaway. I was fighting with myself a little bit, but after seeing the binary character and the suit, I think they wouldn't give that to us they wouldn't give that to us if it wasn't gonna be actually gonna happen. I know the Harry Styles thing. They had Kevin Feige had his comments this week about it. I think that'll happen still someday. I think this will happen sooner than later.
Jax, your impressions, your reactions.
So I knew it before because I'm terrible
All
at
right.
staying away from spoilers. But so that's literally one of the main reasons why I went to this movie too, because like I wanted to see that because I'm more of a Fantastic Four guy, but I'm a big X-Men guy. So it was really cool. Beast, I didn't really love the look, the CGI. Wasn't a huge fan at all. But the overall idea of it, sick. You love seeing the X doors in the background. I was just like, let's ride. We're back. I'm back in right when I'm out. They pull me back. And yeah, and I do think, so I have a theory about it, whatever. I don't think this is the universe where Deadpool is, but I think in Deadpool, we are going to travel to this universe to recruit more X-Men, possibly even this is the universe where they get Wolverine. Hugh Jackman's been wearing the yellow and blue suit. Maybe that's where this is.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
my theory.
I thought of Deadpool 3 immediately.
Yeah.
I thought this is with Kelsey Grammer playing Beast. I thought, okay, this is supposed to be the same universe as that we've seen in the early 21st century, with like the Bryan Singer movies. I think this is the same one. And it's not the same one that has Charles in Multiverse of Madness because he dies, right? In Multiverse of Madness when he has the iconic yellow chair. I think we're going to see Patrick Stewart come back, but he's going to be playing Professor X from the movies that we've already seen. In Deadpool 3, you talk about like him traveling to the universe. I think Wolverine is potentially that's going to be Logan from this universe that's being incorporated. And this is just going to be the reality set in, right? And I don't know, like Monica Rambeau, I don't anticipate she's going to be a part of Deadpool 3 in a significant way, but it's just a way for us to get here, right? And just let us know that this is available. This is going to happen, right? And she's just not going to do anything during that movie. I do want to talk about the look of Beast. I'm going to push back and say I like the way he looked. Okay. More so like the CGI, a little bit of Hulk vibes in She-Hulk. Little bit of that. Okay. But the look of the character, I'm like, that's Beast. That's like animated show Beast. Like how we got Professor X in the yellow chair. Like it's like in Multiverse of Madness. I'm getting Beast with like the hair that's spiked up a little bit. It's not Kelsey Grammer from like The Last Stand that has like the comb over a little bit. To me, that's like, nah, it's not really Beast. The look of the character, it seems like they're trying to be comic accurate, which I respect. Okay. The budget might not have been allotted to making it look like human-like, right? For the most part, but like it's just a tease. I'm not gonna hold it too much over their head. I gotta say, hearing Kelsey Grammer's voice, I was like, damn, he's so good at that voice, bro. He is so good at that voice. I was just like, I can't imagine someone else playing Beast. I hope someone else just plays like the physical role and then Kelsey Grammer just talks over it because he is so good.
Henry, this is Logan. He's Wolverine. I hear you're quite an animal. Look who's talking.
The goat.
Yeah.
You are right about the look, as in like what he actually looks like. You are right. I'm more talking about the CGI. I think Jax, I don't want to speak for you, but maybe that was your point too.
Yeah, I was more so on the CGI. He looks great, but the CGI part of it, I'd rather see like a practical kind of.
Like,
right. And again, like remember Thanos? Thanos' first time, he looked terrible. That he's Grimace, and then they evolved.
Dude, I love like just X-Men. Obviously, you think of like the first X-Men movie back in 2000, the black suits. It doesn't look like the X-Men from the comic books or the animated series. Like it seems like there is going to be a real effort made to make this comic like or animated series like as possible. Like we have the yellow suit coming, right? With Wolverine. Like all of this is like I'm getting like these guys get it. Like they're going to get like the proper treatment on screen, even if it's not like they're not gonna wear the black suits. And so they're just like from their universe. Like we got to make this like the X-Men, the MCU is gonna do that. Feige's gonna do that. I just think it gives me hope for how they're gonna be treated eventually. But I don't think like these X-Men characters will be carried over. I think we want to start fresh. We want like different people to play these characters that they become like the MCU's own, because these are the people we're looking for. Like after like the original Avengers are gone, we're looking at Fantastic Four, like you talked about, Jax. Like we have to build around it, but I thought this was a pretty enticing scene.
Yeah, and we also have to remember Kevin Feige. Where did he get his start? It was
good call,
X-Men. Yeah. So like this is, if we had to pick like his baby out of Marvel, it would be the X-Men. It would be. So he wants to make sure he gets that right, especially because, again, I'm on this train. I think once the X-Men, this is all done and dusted. This whatever next how many years with the X-Men, and Star Wars does their thing, I think he's going to go over to Star Wars. So
I saw a report of like a rumor mill report of that he is after Secret Wars, he's possibly going to go over to Star Wars.
Exactly. So I think he wants to get this right as his like last action. He had a great 10 years. Right now it's kind of like people are having their questions. He wants to right the ship, and get the MCU back on the right path here, not to the end game peak, but make sure his baby's all set, big franchise, and Secret Wars ends up going okay, and then he goes, you know what, I can go into the sunset and go take on Star Wars, which is a bigger disaster.
Yeah. sports analogy, it's Theo Epstein going from like the Red Sox to get him over the top in 04 and then moving on to the Cubs and having them win a World Series in 2016, right? He wants to take these two, right? Take them to different heights and then move on, right? Like he's like, I have made my peace. Like I've made my peace. I've done what I needed to do here. And I can imagine him on set in like 2000, like watching the X-Men and seeing like some of the iterations of the characters and him just like kind of like fuming in the back of his mind saying like, they don't look like this, they don't look like this. Wolverine, he doesn't have a mask on, he's not wearing yellow, you know. It's just, I could see him be like, I want to make this like real Marvel, you know. Cool. Jax, I wanted to, before we sign off here, I wanted to talk about Binary. Do you know anything about this character?
So no, but I looked, well, previously I didn't. I kind of did a little research because I wasn't 100% sure. It's not someone I'm super familiar with, but so essentially Captain Marvel in general is extremely confusing. So Carol Danvers was originally Miss Marvel in the comics. Then, and Maria Rambeau was Captain Marvel. And then there's also a Captain Marvel, which is a man. It's all very confusing. Binary is supposedly is Carol Danvers in the comics, but it is the most powerful form of Captain Marvel. That's basically what I got from all my research on it. Kind of confusing, but it's basically just another variant of Captain Marvel that's possibly even stronger.
Wow, interesting. Yeah. And Lashana Lynch, interesting. Ricky Flicks, you brought it up. Like she's in here for the long haul potentially. It's, I think James Bond didn't necessarily pan out that the way she wanted to, and she'd become like potentially the next James Bond taking on the mantle. She's like, MCU's calling my name. I'm in, baby. You know, I'm here. But is she in the X-Men though, or is she just adjacent to them, or?
No,
kind of
she's not in the X-Men.
To it. Yeah, not in the X-Men though.
She's like a Spider-Man where Spider-Man's not in the Avengers, you know, like in the comics, not in the Avengers, but like on the outside. And Spider-Man's not in the X-Men, but helps him out sometimes. Like same thing here.
Okay.
Yeah. Or Spider-Man with the Fantastic Four. That's my favorite iteration.
That's another one.
I just need to say that when he's wearing the white suit with the 4 on it. It's phenomenal.
Oh. Great.
Yeah. Maybe I'll save my Spider-Man takes for later. Right? Okay. That does for the post-credit scenes.